Alright, so previously we were looking at verbs, but we were trying to look at the tenses, and we saw the past tense or the perfect tense, and we have taken quite a lot of time discussing it. Now today we want also to look at the imperfect tense. You know, when we say past and present or future tense, you know, there is a way they do not basically fit in. But now, maybe at a later stage, we shall explain this. We said in the imperfect tense, we see something that is similar to the present and the future. And right over here, we are looking at something to do with the past tense. However, I want to caution you that where we are going is a bit tricky. But it is very understandable. It is pretty easy if you offer it enough time. You remember in the past, we would get a verb like fataha, and we would play around with it at the extreme end. For example, we had verbs like we had words like fatahtu, you see at the end, then you have fatahta, then you have fatahti, then you have fataha, then you have fatahat. Take a close look here, my brother, my sister. When we wanted to say, I opened, you opened, male, actually, or you opened, feminine, he opened, then she opened. Now, you look at this, the timing is in the past. How are we going to say he opens? Or he is opening. Now, you see, that's why we were trying to use the word imperfect. How do you say he is opening or he opens? Okay. Assuming you want to say he opens. Or let's just go in this rightful order. How do you say I open? Then you open. You open. This being male and this being female. Then he opens. Then she opens. How do we go about this? the verbs here will help us because it is like a pattern. That the pattern that you will apply on this verb will be the same pattern that you will apply on the other verb. You will see something like, first of all you have then sukun, then then I want you to look at this because we are going to refer to it at some point. I want you to look at this pattern. Okay, let's begin. If you want to say that I open, it is going to be after who. After who. I'll even use this. After who. Okay. After who. Now, I want to be so slow here and I want you to mark how I'm punctuating. This F, we are putting a sukun, ta, hu. Now, if you are looking, I want you to see this here. After who, we put a in front of the root verbs because now the root letters here were F, T, H. We put a in front of these letters, and now we are having the word after who. When I see after who, I don't ask many things. I know he's saying I open. How do we say you open? You open is going to be after who. See how we are punctuating. After who. After who. After who. Easy. Easy as easy can be. So anybody who was telling you these things are going to be complicated, how will you know these things? Now I think you are disproving them. You open after who. And we are going to see that even when we substitute these other verbs, we fit in, you'll see they'll take the same pattern. Apart from a few verbs, and we shall also have to look at them at some point. Now, for the female, if you want to say you open and you are telling the female, this is the only one which has a variation, and it is going to be taftahina. Taftahina. Okay? Hina. It will only be the one that has a variation. Wow. I told you this thing is so easy. He opens. He opens. How do you go to he opens? He opens is going to be yaftahu. 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 Okay. This one is here. Don't confuse it. This one is here. And this one is here. Now, what is she opens? is going to be taftahu. Taftahu. Now, before we go any further, I know someone is about to tell me, hey, don't you think you have made a mistake? Do you see that taftahu here is the same as, is it real? Yeah. That's how it's always going to be. The way you say she opens is the same way you're going to say you open for the masculine. And it's going to be the same when you look at it. So, my friend, I want to give you encouragement. That is, this is how simple these things are going to be. If you expected them to be so hard, trust me, no. We shall take another verb. We initially used the verb fa'al. Sorry. Fa'al. And we say this means to do. Okay. So we can have variations like fa'altu, we can have fa'alta, we can have fa'alti, then we have fa'ala and fa'alat. So when you look at this, this is I do, you do for female, he does, and she does. You cannot say she do. No. Okay? Now, how do you say the same thing in the present? In the present, we are going to say, we are going to have words like af'al. Af'al, you see, for I, we are always going to start with a. Af'alu. Af'alu. Then for you do, we are going to have taf'alu. Taf'alu. Then for you will of course change. You will change, and it will be you for feminine will be taf'alina. And then he does will now be yaf'alu. And she does will be taf'alu. Now, this is the past. Now this is the present. In the past, I did will be fa'altu, okay? And if you want to say I do, af'al. So I think you can see that this is going to 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 this. Okay, they may not be in the same order, but you can see when you want to say I did, fa'altu, I do, af'alu, taf'alu, taf'alina, yaf'alu, taf'alu. It will get so, you see, if you are following, now I want you to refer to this pattern. Af'alu. Okay, and then fa'al, the same pattern, that there will be a then the sukun, then or alu. So for those of you who were at the portal, we tried out several other verbs, and when you look at those verbs, the same pattern. Let's look at another verb here, briefly. The other verb is shariba. Shariba means to drink. Okay, shariba means to drink. So if you want to say in the past, I drank, you'll say sharibatu you drank, sharibta for male. For female will be sharibti. For male, he drank, shariba. And she drank will be sharibat. Sorry, the sharibat. Okay, but now if you want to say I drink, it now will become ashrabu. Ashrabu. Okay, you see we are even here, even here, Then if you want to say you drank, male is going to be tashrabu. And for the female, this is one which has a bit of a variation. Therefore, we shall have tashrabina. Tashrabina. Then he drinks is going to be yashrabu. then she drinks will also be tashrabo. And when you look at tashrab here, it is the same as you masculine. So don't get confused. They somehow look alike. Even when you come here, fa'al, you look at taf'alu. Taf'alu is the same as here, taf'al. So this is how easy these verbs can be. Even when we look at a verb for allama, maybe I can give you that to teach is allama. You can now put it in perfect and the imperfect and see how it will turn out to be. So now I wanted us to look briefly at what happens when we look at the object of the verb and the doer of the verb, just like we did those sentences in the first case. If you want to say Zaid opened the door. The first step we took is to write that he opened. Then 2, we put the doer in case 1. And then 3, we put the object in case 2. That's the pattern. Therefore, this will be he opened is fataha. Doer is Zaid. In case 1 is going to be Zaidun, fataha, Zaidun. The door, case 2, is going to be al-baba. Okay, now this is the past. Let us look at how if this is in the present, that Zaid opens the door. Same trick is that he opens doer in case 1, object in case 2. So what is our answer going to look like? He opens, we have already known, he opens, what is he open? Yaftahu, that is, he opens. Yaftahu, who? Zaid, in case 1, is going to be Zaidun. And object, the door, in case 2, is going to be al-baba. Yaftahu Zaidun al-baba. I think you can see how it turns out to be. That is the trick, nothing complicated about it. Okay, we can also have another one, that Fatuma opened the door. First of all, shall put she opened. 2, doer, case 1, object, case 2. What is it going to look like now? She opened. How do we put she opened? Fatahat. Doer in case 1, Fatmatu. The do in case 2 is al-baba. And now, sure, the same way, if we want to say Fatuma opens the door. First one, I put she opens. 2, doer, case 1, 3, object, case 2. Okay, so Fatima opens the door. What are we going to have? First of all, we shall have she opens. And she opens, if you look at the examples we have been giving, she opens is going to be taftahu, taftahu, name Fatimatu, case 2 of the object, al-baba. So this is how easy these things can be. They can only be complicated if you don't offer them enough time. But I'm telling you, if you give in your all, you will find out that these things are very easy. Very easy. Okay, so when we look at the punctuation, I want us to go back to the verb like I open. I open. I, whenever you see I, we are first putting a in front of the root letters to denote I. You look here when you wanted to say I open, we put a after who? I open. Same when you wanted to say I drink, ashrabu. You see, when I wanted to say ashrabu, we used ashrab after who? After who, we also used it here. So you can see we put a in front of the root letter. So what we're going to do, we shall have as many examples as possible. But something before I close. You notice we have been giving I, you for male and female. Then we give he or she, but we have not yet given it. So someone would be asking, what do we use for it? It will either be, because we don't have the word it in Arabic, so it will either be she or it. For example, if you are looking at a car is siyara. Siyara will take on the verb she. If you want to say, my car runs, it will be the same as saying she runs, because it is in the feminine. That stage may confuse you for now, but we shall get to it. So do not look for it, because it, are, is, those words do not exist in Arabic. They do not exist. So do not look for them because they do not exist. Yeah. Until next time, we shall meet.